I stood on the deck admiring the view, when suddenly someone shoved me hard, and I fell straight into the pool below. But the attacker didn't intend to let me go. He closed the pool's retractable roof, planning to drown me completely inside. The weight of my clothes kept me from surfacing. I struggled desperately to shed my jacket, but it was too late. The pool was already fully enclosed by the roof. Then I realized this was a guest room's private pool. I pounded on the glass, trying to alert the guests inside. Soon a woman spotted me. Thankfully, she noticed just in time. I was pulled out quickly, but this wasn't the first strange incident I'd encountered. Ever since boarding this luxury yacht, bizarre events had followed one after another. The following night, I was awakened from deep sleepy by the sound of an argument next door. I slowly made my way to the balcony, drawn by the noise. The next instant, a distinct heavy splash echoed through the air. I quickly leaned out to investigate, spotting a figure floating in the cold, dark water. Turning my head, I saw a blood-stained handprint clearly imprinted on the glass partition. Without a moment to spare, I immediately alerted the crew. Within moments, the yacht entered full security alert, scouring the sea for the missing passenger. When informed it was the occupant of cabin 10, the security chief wore a peculiar expression. Cabin 10 had been vacant all along. The guest who was supposed to stay there had canceled their reservation 2 days before boarding. I was utterly stunned, for today in that very cabin I had seen a blonde woman. But what was even stranger, the crew searched all passengers. Everyone was accounted for in their rooms. No one was missing, and the bloody handprint on the glass door had vanished by then, leaving me even more baffled. Everyone assumed I hadn't rested well and was hallucinating, so they dispersed one by one, and door 10 was ordered locked. The next day, at my request, the captain brought me to the deck to check if any crew had fallen overboard, but scanning the faces on both sides, I still couldn't find that blonde woman. Then I went to photographer Morgan's cabin. It suddenly occurred to Mech that perhaps Morgan had captured her by chance. Sure enough, I found her in one photograph, but this photo was taken by Morgan at a party months ago, offering no proof she was on the yacht. The other passengers aboard all claimed they didn't recognize her either. Helpless, I returned to my cabin. Yet while showering, I caught a fleeting shadow pass outside the door. Then, on the bathroom door, I discovered a warning left by the intruder. Now staring at the floor drain beneath my feet, a new idea formed. I struggled to climb from outside the yacht into cabin 10, hoping to find the woman's hair in the drain. Finally, in the sink plug, I found what I sought. But Morgan insisted that antagonizing the crew further was unwise. The slightest misstep could provoke them. He proposed waiting until the yacht docked before accompanying me to report it to the police. Until then, we resolved to lie low. On the third day of the voyage, I was in my cabin when I suddenly discovered an unfamiliar button proof someone had broken in. I hid the hair in my coatee and went up to the deck, only to be unexpectedly shoved into the pool. When I was pulled out, the hair in my coat had vanished, and the person who pushed me vanished without a trace. At that moment, I was stunned to discover that the missing button from the captain's family doctor was the very one I had found. I suddenly realized this was all part of the captain's scheme.